Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more Hearts of Iron 4, continuing on with my Nova Roma playthrough. And in the last video, I pretty much spent the entire time just preparing for a war with Yugoslavia in a way that I would be in a position to also be at war with France and England if that were to come about, which more than likely it will because they are guaranteeing the independence of Yugoslavia. Otherwise, I could wait until the war breaks out between Germany and the Allies and then either take advantage of the Allies' distraction to go after Yugoslavia or take advantage of the Germans' distraction to take them out. Either strategy, I think, would be fine. Now, the one thing I'm not sure of is if I'm at war with the Allies, can I then go to war with Germany? Or will I be incorporated into the same war with Germany? Because I really don't want that to happen. I don't want to be in the same war with Germany. Mostly because the whole point of the series is that I cannot join the Axis. I cannot be allied with them. Now, I'm in a different faction, so in theory, we wouldn't technically be allied, but if we're in the same war together on the same side, then that would be, in a way, going against the intent of the series. So we'll have to see. Alright, so I have new submarine tech, and I promised myself I would continue with research of ships continuously. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go on with the next level of cruiser, the heavy cruiser. And research that. And also I'm going to need to change production here to the new level of submarine. So right now I have some slow production with the submarines. I'm going to just change that to the current submarine tech, which is the Perla class. We'll lose some production here, but I really don't care. And we'll increase that to, let's say, 5. I didn't mean to make this infinite, but I guess it's okay if it is. I'll go ahead and turn this production down a little bit, though, and do that. Yeah, you know what? We'll just do infinite production because there probably will be a while before I get the next level of tech, at least a couple years. And I will be getting my focus, should be working to get me some naval doctrines, but then I have other focuses that will give me research bonuses to ships eventually. But there's no rush for that. I think, as far as a lot of things go, most of the planes and ships are 1940 tech. I might want to go... So I have to do modernized artillery to do modernized army, huh? So this gives me recon companies and land doctrines. Special forces gives me paratroopers and increase to mountain infantry, which is good. And then we have armored effort way down here. I think I might go down this path soon, but all of these focuses are great. I mean, they help me in some way. Unfortunately, I can't do any of these things because I didn't go down this path here. Alright, well, anyway. Go ahead and continue. So at the moment, I'm just waiting for more troops to pop out. And recruitment. We're having some issues with supply. Let me take a look in production, how we're doing. So, it looks like support equipment is kind of behind. But I definitely need to start getting some more military factories for sure. I was hoping to conquer some in the war with Yugoslavia before we had a more major war, but fortunately that didn't come to pass. World tension has gone down quite a bit since its highs of before, but that's probably just because a lot of the stuff is ticking down. We'll have to see what happens when Germany eventually goes after Czechoslovakia here. Because I would say probably normally world tension would not be this high. You know, one thing I also want to check on is how is Japan doing? Okay, it seems like they're doing fairly well. They were losing up here in the north for a little while, but it looks like I think they have it in hand. Now, hopefully what happened with the Make Love Not War series that I did, where Japan just came in and just stomped China very, very early and got world tension up to 100% very, very early. Hopefully that won't happen. Not that it would probably really matter for me, but it makes things a little bit difficult. Alright, so I got my recon group. Alright, so other stuff that I can do here. So we can't do tanks until 39. Artillery's 39. We're already working on land doctrines. Naval stuff I'm working on, although I could do more stuff with that. But honestly, the only other thing that I would need would be the upgraded super battleship, which I don't think I'm ever even going to go down this line. I don't think I'm going to bother. And I don't think I'm going to bother with carriers either. So I think we're pretty much good once this finishes. I could do ahead of time tech, but I don't think there's a point in that. Naval Doctrine, we're about to get bonuses or reduction in research time. This is 40. I could do Air Doctrine. It doesn't take too long to do that. So I'd have to decide on what type I would want. So one goes towards close air support, one goes towards tactical bombers, and one goes towards strategic bombers. I honestly think with Italy, if I remember historically, they went more this route. And I think that shows with the numbers of bombers I have. I have more tactical bombers than anything else. So probably making my tactical bombers more effective would be good. As far as fighters go, I think it doesn't really particularly matter which path you go down. You have stuff that is good for fighters. So if I had to choose, I'd probably go down this path. And this gives me a lot of interception bonuses, which would probably be good fighting the Allies. Yeah, so I think I may do that. Alternatively, we could go up to the next level of radar, which I don't think is necessary right now, or I could go with the next level of excavation as well. But out of the bunch, I think I'm going to go with the Air Doctrine, because it doesn't take too long, and I think it's important to start doing some of these. I'm not going to go too crazy with it, but alright. And when I get my next factory, which I should be working on now, when is that going to pop out? In September? I think I'm going to start doing anti-air build-up. And then I'm going to add that into some of my units, because anti-air defenses is something that we're really weak with. But if I have anti-air units in my actual combat units, that might help a little bit fighting off some of the bombers, tactical bombers, and close air support stuff. It wouldn't help for strategic bombers, probably, but... Alright. That's a nice tech to have. And I think now that we have that done, we start working on encryption and decryption. because that gives you a nice combat bonus. And you don't want to give your enemy that combat bonus either. All right, so I've got a lot of training going on. Oop, there's our focus. All right, so first thing, I want to just check on the training. All right, you guys are good. You don't need to train anymore. What about you guys? You're probably going to continue to need to train. So I'll let that go. Green unit. All right, you guys can still train. White unit's good. Purple unit's good. The white unit, you can stop training. And I don't think either of these units are training. Now, they might need training, but I don't have them training. I guess you guys can be added into the Blue Army, because you are technically part of the defense of Italy. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the focus here. So, first things first, we've got the production increase at our docks. And I figure we might as well increase battleship production, and I'm going to put a couple into the light cruisers as well. And then we're going to need some resources out of that. Steel. Right, steel? Yeah, steel. Okay, who do we trade with? Well, that's tough. We pretty much have to trade with somebody that may potentially be an enemy. We might be able to keep out of fighting the Soviet Union. If we can keep out of being in the same war as the Germans, then technically we should not be at war with the Soviet Union probably ever. So I'm going to go ahead and trade with them. And then the focus. Okay, so my initial idea was to go down modernized artillery and go from there. Alternatively, I could go with befriend Turkey just to get that ball rolling. But I think, and this is just a guess here, I think that if I do befriend Turkey, it shouldn't lock out war with Greece. I think it will lock out befriend Greece, but I don't think it will lock out war with Greece. So I'm going to go ahead and do this because I think having these befriend things help. It builds up fascism in these countries, which is always a good thing. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go down the modernized artillery and go down that army branch and get that knocked out. All right, so let's continue. How's the recruitment going? All right, so we have some things that are just out of supply enough that they're not going to finish, or not enough equipment to train. All right. That's done. I should continue to have discounts here, so I might as well use them while I have them. So I'm going to go ahead and take the next one. And that will be done in 93 days, which is nice. I'm also 5 points away from getting another change to my government. It will be helpful. All right, here we go. So we've got military factory construction speed and dockyard construction speed. You know, one thing I never really took a look at was my economy. So because I'm on limited exports, I actually don't get much of a research bonus. And I never really have figured out what is the downside of going up to more export focus or even free trade. Like, what is the downside? You get less research time, you get more construction speed, you get more factory output. Oh, maybe it's the resources to market. I think that's probably it. So more of your resources go to the market, Oh, okay, so that was the big thing that I was facing when I was Germany. But it seems like the bonuses for free trade are so great. All right, I'm going to not mess with this, though, because I kind of see the benefit of it now, of being limited exports. Although you could argue early on you could go with that free trade and then close the economy later on when the war actually is a factor. Anyway. We've got tank designer. I think a lot of those things are not going to be important right now. Military staff and stuff is not going to be important because it doesn't affect research at all, I don't think. It's just bonuses. Yeah, these are all just bonus stuff, so that stuff's not going to matter. So I'm going to want to probably... what am I doing research right now? I haven't even started on the infantry equipment, right? No. Okay, well, I'm going to do... So with this, I have to choose. Do I want infantry equipment? Do I want artillery equipment? Or do I want motorization equipment? Well, I don't think this comes up all that often. This comes up fairly often. Artillery tends to be not something that takes a lot of time to research anyway. So out of the bunch, I think it's between these two. And I think I'm going to end up going with Beretta here. So we're going to go ahead and select that. And then that might be something that I research soon. And then I'll probably take aircraft designer and tank designer once we get closer to the time that I need that. So 39 would be when I'd probably start thinking about the tank guy. All right, come on. Give me my troops. Yeah, they're all low here. You know what I'm going to do? Boop. Give me that equipment for these guys. See if that helps. Because it's more or less on them whether or not I start this war. I'm not sure if that's really making a difference. Probably more my production that's making the difference. Okay, so we got new research slot. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and do the next level of excavation here. You know, another thing I didn't really think about was mobilization. So right now I'm at partial mobilization. I could have gone with early mobilization or even a war economy here. All right, I got a new factory, so I got to take a look at that. So what's the cost? So consumer goods factories. So this is actually a good thing because that means I need less of my factories used for that. So I would reduce that by 5%. Oh, actually, partial mobilization is more than early mobilization. So the next level would be war economy. I can't do total mobilization because I'm not at war. Okay, so anyway, military factory construction speed goes up. Civilian to military factory conversion goes down. Military, okay, so I don't care about conversion. That's something I never do, and I've never really seen the benefit of that. And then the rest is just stipulations on whether or not I can do it. So this is definitely a good upgrade and probably something I should have done because it gives us military factories faster. But it's not going to be a big deal until we get to this point. So I think we can lay off on that for a while. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so I just got a new factory. Question is, where do I put it? We're starting to have a problem with support equipment. Artillery has long been a problem. And then, I mean, I'd love to bring up fighters and things like that as well. Part of me says keep going with the fighters, because that's one of the things that you run out of very quickly in wartime. But I also want to start popping out these infantry, and we're behind on a lot of production that's probably preventing them. So I'm going to go ahead, put a factory into the artillery. And then, looks like I did pop out a soldier here. So you're going to be added into the blue army. Then you're going to move. All right, so we've got all of the ports except for this one up here. So go ahead and go up there. And then there's one port there, and then that's it. Okay. All right, so we're getting there. And a lot of these guys are just waiting on supplies. Now, I could pop them out ahead of time, but I don't see a reason to do that. It would make them green troops rather than, what is the trained? Oh. You can invite to faction. Perfect. That is really going to help. All right. We got Romania in. Perfect. See, I think waiting to do the war, right there's the benefits of that. Because I just got Romania. Romania and Bulgaria together will really help out tremendously. Now, if only I could get Hungary involved, I think this would be pretty much a done deal. I would be willing to go to war with Yugoslavia right now. But I think it's still a good idea to wait at this point. Just to make sure that I can, fortify Italy itself and make sure that we don't have any repercussions of going to war on the defensive front. Because I don't want the enemy to just easily walk into Sicily and just walk through southern Italy and have no opposition. I want to have some element of opposition here. Now, once I defeat Yugoslavia, I can turn my troops back in and help defend anywhere that I need to. But obviously that requires me to defeat Yugoslavia first, so I think it's better to just be patient here. All right, so the Green Army, you're all trained up. I think you could stop training. I mean, I'll still be adding Alpine units that pop out, but the Blue Army, you still need to train because you just need to. And then Africa, you guys could train, but I might forget about it, and I don't want to, so that's why I'm not doing that. And everybody else is pretty much ready to go. So it's just going to be the Blue Army that's training for now. You know what? Screw it. Go ahead and train. Now, another thing I'm probably going to want to do is get more generals. But I think it's okay if my African units don't have generals for now. Not the end of the world. All right, something happened here. The Fourth International. A number of communist delegates from around the world met in Paris today for a founding conference, laying the groundwork for what has been known as the Fourth International. Calls for its formation have existed for years, with supporters of Trotsky's theories taking the lead. Stalin has responded to the growing support of Trotskyism abroad by ordering additional assassinations and increasing propaganda against his old rival. Oh, okay, so this is a Soviet thing. I just don't remember seeing it. You know, one thing I could push for is staging a coup in France that's communist, because they have so much communist support, just to destabilize them. Usually the coups take about 2 years to do anyway. I think. Well, maybe not quite that long. Now, that would cost me a lot of infantry equipment, though, so... And I could even do it. I can pick where it starts. So I could pick it to be along the border with me to really weaken the French. Like, for instance, I could say Savoy. That's where it starts. That might be a good gamble. I mean, it would really limit how much political power I have. But right now, the biggest thing, though, is I went with a historical playthrough. And I kind of know what's going to happen based off of that. Germany's going to go to war with Poland. We know that. Then there's going to be the split of Poland between Germany and the Soviet Union. When that happens, the French have the option to do an event that just brings down the communist support drastically in their country. And if the coup doesn't happen before that happens, that would be problematic for me, because that would have been a waste of time. And we know that we have a year before that happens, and I get 0.5 a day, and I need 200, so that's 400 days. So in theory, the Germans could start the war and to beat Poland before my coup strikes. So I think the safe route is to not do that, just because I think the communist support will drop just before the coup happens, and then it would be, you know, a big waste of my political power. So you know what? I'm not going to do it, but that's something I could have done and would have been interesting to weaken France in that way, but I'm just not sure if that's a wise idea, especially considering that I'm only getting 0.75 a day. Okay, the alliance is official. Oh, look at this. Turkey wants to be in my faction. Thank you. And then we have a focus. So we just finished the befriend Turkey. So that worked out. And it looks like I can do war with Greece, which is perfect. If I wanted to. Later down the road. I don't think that's an important thing to go for right now. But I think I'm going to go ahead and go with modernized artillery, because some of this stuff here I think I'm going to need to take advantage of sooner rather than later. And then maybe I focus on ships and stuff. But for right now, modernized artillery is where we're going to go. Alright, well, I didn't expect Turkey to join my faction so early. Let's go ahead and take a look at the faction map. Oh, wait, they haven't officially accepted yet, so there we go. Now we can take a look at the faction map. So we have all this stuff, and if we take Yugoslavia, we'll actually meet the two together. So if I can get Hungary, that would really make my day. But Turkey will be great for an eventual war on Greece. Maybe. But so far, I'm pretty happy. The faction is growing. And my options are more open, I think. But Turkey's going to help a lot, I think, with a war against the Allies. Because Turkey can come in and go after Syria and also down into Egypt and pressure the Suez Canal, which is great. That's exactly what we want. Now, it doesn't look like they have their troops deployed in such a way to do that. But for now, that's good. And I'm very happy with that situation. Now, really, all I'm waiting for... Okay, they just claimed Memel, which is in Lithuania. So they claimed it. I don't know if they got it. Let's see. I don't know if that's happened yet, but we can watch. Might have already happened. I'm not sure. I know that's a Lithuanian territory, but I'm not exactly sure where in Lithuania it would have been, and I didn't look over here before it happened. So, I'm not positive if it already happened or not. Oh yeah, I think it did. Uh-oh. That just brought up world tension. Yeah, so here's Memel. I thought that might have been where it was. So that already got transferred. Let's take a look at what's going on over here in China. So China was able to push back pretty heavily in the north here and take out the ally of Japan, or puppet of Japan. So things are not going particularly well for Japan. I have seen things swing two different ways in different playthroughs. In my French campaign, Japan was completely and totally incapable of fighting China, and the Chinese beat them, more or less, taking Korea from them and all of Manchuria from them. And it looks like that may happen again, although they do have a foothold over here. So we'll have to see how that develops. Now, technically, that is, I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, China's probably not going to be that big of something that I really care about. But if the Chinese join the Allies and then I get into a war with the Allies, then I have to defeat China to maybe put an end to the war. So, you know, that makes the whole thing complicated. But in any case, I think this is a good point to put a cut in the video. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Things have definitely, I think, been going better for me with the addition of Turkey into my faction and Romania. And again, maybe we can get Hungary in here too. But as long as they have that -30, I don't know. It's hard to say. In any case, I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner signing out.